The 1994 FIFA World Cup final in Pasadena, USA, and two of football's superpowers, Brazil and Italy, were inseparable after extra time. This was the first occasion that penalties would decide who lifts the trophy. For one side, there was ecstasy. For the other, despair. And for FIFA's Brazilian-born president, some very mixed feelings. João Havelange would witness his own nation winning the FIFA World Cup trophy in his last final at the helm.
Naturally, I was emotional, but as president of FIFA, I kept the emotion inside me, and it wasn't external. I respect all the teams, and I respect all the participants, the winner and the defeated. That was my position, but I do think Brazil deserved to win the cup.
Havelange became FIFA president in 1974, the first non-European in that role, and he had very clear aims from the outset. On taking over from Sir Stanley Rouse, he realized the game could no longer stay in its heartlands. He had to embrace the new with confidence. Havelange would give the young a chance. He'd give opportunities to developing countries, and he'd bring new forms of the game into the fold.
The development of football was the basis. We achieved that with lessons which intensified across all the continents, and they began in Africa. That opened the door for youngsters around the world to start playing.
Havelange set about the development of youth football. In 1977, he introduced the FIFA World Youth Championship. An African nation, Tunisia, hosted that inaugural event, which was won by the Soviet Union. 2 years later, the second tournament in Japan saw the Soviet Union as finalists again, where they faced Argentina, featuring a very special young star, Diego Maradona. Argentina were victors in the final 3-1, largely thanks to Maradona's precocious skills. It was the first step on the road to FIFA hosting a number of age-limited youth competitions from the ages of 17 to 23.
We've introduced two competitions for youth teams because it's through the young players that you find the future stars in the world. And you can see that players who come through at the under-17s and under-20s, a few years later, you see them at the World Cup. That's evolution, that's merit, that's greatness, that's football.
The FIFA World Youth Championship is regarded as their second biggest competition, ahead of even the Olympics under-23 tournament. Over the years, there have been many great names whose skill at an early age has been showcased at this tournament. The competition also provides an opportunity for some of the world's less renowned football nations, such as Malaysia, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, to host a major event. It's tremendous preparation in grounding players and giving them their first taste of the big time. It also acclimatizes them to different playing techniques that stand them in good stead when it comes to the FIFA World Cup itself. Even though the players are younger and less well known, attendances remain high, with over 110,000 people watching Portugal's win in 1991. African nations have been highly successful, with Qatar, Nigeria and Ghana all having reached the final. All in all, the FIFA World Youth Championships have been a resounding success. Youth football has blossomed everywhere. The emphasis on the young has not only reaped rewards at international level, but also around the world. Youth teams have provided some sparkling success stories. Matari United is located in one of Kenya's poorest slums. The Matari Youth Sports Association came into being in 1990 when a United Nations advisor walking through the area was inspired by a group of children playing soccer using homemade balls. Those players, given the chance to shine, stayed together and worked hard to achieve success. As adults, they managed to take their skills to the next level. Matari United went on to become Kenyan champions and have now represented their nation in continental club competitions. In addition, the Matari women's squad have also shone. They became under-16s national women's champions in 1999, and some have gone on to represent the full Kenyan national team. For many in Matari, the footballers are an inspiration. Matari United are not just sportsmen and sportswomen, they are role models for the people. Through their skills, Matari United have illustrated that despite being from impoverished surroundings, football can flourish and give hope. In Thailand, there's also real emphasis on developing the skills and technique that are essential for success. Just outside Bangkok is the Tamrong Thai organization, founded in the early 1980s. It gives an opportunity for children to eat, drink and breathe the beautiful game. The man behind it all is Sumit Kaitipnet, who was inspired by perhaps the greatest team of all.
In 1970, I was watching the World Cup and realised that Thai players were about the same size as Brazilians. I thought if we trained like Europeans, we'd never be as good as them, and that we should put the emphasis on individual technique and skill.
The Tamrong Thai Foundation gives hundreds of children a better future and a brighter chance in life. The boys come from all kinds of backgrounds and joined the club as young as 8 years old. In a nation that doesn't have many football facilities, there's a very high demand to join the team. Footballing success has also followed the Tamrong Thai. In the last 10 years, the club's travelled some 430,000 kilometres, winning 9 international youth tournaments en route. A fine example of a truly global youth team. But perhaps one of the biggest success stories that illustrates the globalization of football is the world-famous Academia Tahuichi. Santa Cruz in Bolivia is a poor city in one of South America's poorest countries. Drugs are rife and the crime rate is high. Tahuichi provides a way for some of these children to escape these conditions. Founded in 1982, Tahuichi has produced nearly 200 Bolivian internationals and has received 4 nominations for the Nobel Peace Prize. The Academy's philosophy is to take children as young as 3 and provide them with a football education, life development and a way off the streets. Academia Tahuichi was the brainchild of a late Rolly Aguilera. What began as a friendly kickabout involving his sons would later develop into a Bolivian institution.
Tahuichi tries to show the child from a very early age that he is loved and that he is the same as all children around the world. And like them, he can be a winner.
This winning mentality is reflected in Tahuichi's worldwide success down the years. They've excelled at competitions like the Dallas Cup, so much so that American children travel to Bolivia for coaching the Tahuichi way. And Tahuichi received the highest accolade in '85 when they were invited to represent Bolivia in the first FIFA World Under-16 Cup in China. The FIFA Under-16, later to become the Under-17 World Championship, saw the developing countries flourish. Nigeria were the first winners of the competition, and nations have triumphed from 4 different continents. In 1989, Saudi Arabia shocked host Scotland and became the first Asian country to win a FIFA World title. Ghana and Nigeria have each had a brace of wins, illustrating the depth of young talent to emerge from Africa. In 2001 in Trinidad and Tobago, the French, who've put a big emphasis on the development of youth football, triumphed. However, just as at senior level, it's been Brazil who've recorded the most number of tournament wins. Their victory in 2003 in Finland was their third. Youth tournaments are one way to help the developing nations participate and grow, but perhaps the biggest expansion was seen at the 1982 FIFA World Cup. It was here that Havelange's wish to have more countries taking part at the highest level was realised. There was now a clutch of newcomers who had seats at the top table of world football. Prior to 1982, only 16 teams took part in football's biggest event. 8 more places meant that smaller nations, such as New Zealand and Kuwait, got to take on the world's best. Asia, Africa and North America each got 2 places in the 24-strong field. More teams and more newcomers meant there was also a chance for more shocks, and very quickly African nations came to everyone's attention. Teams that dismissed them or took matches lightly suffered the consequences. And that's exactly what happened when West Germany met Algeria in the group stages, and the former champions succumbed to an unbelievable 2-1 defeat. The concentration on developing football in the African continent paid further dividends in 1982 with the arrival of Cameroon. In their first appearance, the indomitable Lions eagerly showed the world that they deserved their place amongst the elite. Although they failed to make it past the group stages, Cameroon gave eventual winners Italy a real scare, holding them to a 1-1 draw. Above all, Spain '82 demonstrated to the world that African nations could provide serious competition. Eight years later, at Italia '90, Cameroon once again showed that they were a force to be reckoned with. In the opening game, they faced defending champions Argentina and emerged shock 1-0 winners. Inspired by the ageless Roger Miller, they became the first African nation to reach the quarter-finals. They faced England in a match that would go down as a classic.
We had just defeated Argentina, Romania and Colombia, and then we found ourselves playing England. So we were, I would say, 100 times more motivated because we wanted to do something extraordinary and become the first African country to reach the semi-finals.
Despite going into a 2-1 lead, Cameroon were unable to cling on, as the English proved the fitter side. The Africans eventually succumbed to an extra-time penalty winner from Gary Lineker. It was the end of a great adventure.
We lost because of those 2 penalties given by the referee. But I think for us, the Cameroon, this has been a very good memory. This was a trigger for all the African countries, because today all the African countries that participate in the World Cup believe in themselves, believe that they can go far. We have seen what Senegal has done in Korea and Japan.
Cameroon's achievements made it clear that African nations were well worth their plate.
Football will never die, because football is the game of the people.